welcome to the autoX show. Now sit back and relax because we've got a very exciting show for you this week. We check out a special pair from Jaguar Land Rover, the Jaguar F-Type, which gets more attainable with a new 4-cylinder 2-liter motor, and the Range Rover, which gets even more luxurious in its extended wheelbase version. We also check out our performance bike of 2018, the Ducati Monster 821. But first, here's the svelte lines of the Jaguar F-Type. Now, to my eyes, it's one of the most evocative shapes in the automotive world today. Ian Callum, the head of design at Jaguar, and his team have done a phenomenal job with this machine. Jared takes it for a spin.
So the keys I have in my hand are going to start that car right there. And that beautiful piece of machinery is the Jaguar F-Type. Now, not too long ago, a couple of months actually, Jaguar launched the F-Type SVR. And that beautiful, amazing sports car comes with a massive 5-liter V8 supercharged engine that can create almost 570 bhp and 700 Newton meters of torque. Well, that's not this car. Jaguar also launched a 3-liter version of the F-Type, and that's a V6 supercharged capable of making almost 370 bhp and 460 Nm of torque. Well, unfortunately, that's also not this car. The car we have today is the baby Jaguar. This is the Jaguar F-Type 2.0. And well, this car comes with a 2-liter, wait for it, 4-cylinder supercharged engine. Yeah. Okay, so it does have a tiny engine, but this 2-liter here is part of Jaguar Land Rover's Ingenium series of engine modules. And this one has been tuned to about 300 brake horsepower and 400 Nm of torque. Now that's very impressive. It also comes with an 8-speed gearbox, and this car is rear-wheel drive. So that means this is technically a real sports car. It can also race from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 5.7 seconds. Now that's just almost a second slower than the V6 supercharged version. Now in fact, these specs actually seem like this sports car is great for Indian road conditions. But the question we're here to find out, which we always want to find out, is this car any good? Now first things first, the Jaguar F-Type is a beautiful car to look at. It will definitely get you noticed when you're driving around town. Its low, long silhouette looks very sporty, and although it is compact, it does look muscular thanks to the nice haunches at the rear. Now the main changes that have been done to the new Jaguar F-Type 2.0 is the front end. Very minor changes though. How will you distinguish this car from the bigger ones? Well, there are 3 things. The badging, of course, the LED lights, and the single exhaust you have right smack center at the rear. Now, of course, besides looks, you need something else to help you get noticed when you're driving through town. That thing is sound. Now, traditionally, 4-cylinder turbos have never sounded that great. How does this one sound though? So if you think 300 horses is not enough power, especially when you're driving a rear-wheel drive British sports car, well, this Jaguar F-Type can prove you wrong. And how? Now coming to the way the car drives, yes, I have to admit that it does drive very, very well. The engine doesn't feel like it's gonna rip your head off with the blistering acceleration. In fact, the throttle response is very nice, very linear, and it feels very composed at all times. It's actually very confidence inspiring because you feel like you're in control of the car all the time. Okay, so it's not remotely as hair-raising as the V8 or grin-inducing as the V6, but still, this baby F-Type is really a nice car to drive. While it is well-behaved in the city, if you wish to head to some nice tarmac with some fun twisty sections, this car will not disappoint you. The car handles incredibly well. In fact, the engineers at Jaguar had said that this baby F-Type would be the best handling. Every small flick on the steering wheel has measurable impact on the front wheels, and the suspension setup really feels good, especially when you're gassing it through tight bends. It's stiff at times, obviously, but at the right time, and you always feel like you're in total control of the car, knowing what it will do next. Now I have to admit, the reason why this is because the car is underpowered. It's got 300 brake horsepower, but that's all usable power. Now, 500 horsepower is not something you can really enjoy in a country like India where our roads aren't the best. I mean, you can't really do much with it. But with 300 bhp, always on call for you, and 400 Nm of torque, this car simply is a blast to drive because you're really enjoying every single ounce of power. This little kitty has all the torque you need at the get-go. The Ingenium engine pours out all of that 400 Nm of torque from as low as 1,500 RPM, all the way up to 4,500 RPM. The benefit of this, of course, is that you rarely need to downshift if you want to get that acceleration power. All you have to do is just push down on the acceleration, and the car pushes off very nicely. Another really cool feature this car has is its active exhaust, this button here. If it doesn't seem loud enough, you just press this button here, and whenever you accelerate the car and then let go, the exhaust pops and crackles, making you feel like you're actually driving the V6 or the V8 version of the Jaguar F-Type. Now, the advantage of having a downsized engine also means you save on fuel costs. Well, fuel costs should be the least of your concerns. What you should be more concerned about is how much this car costs. Well, at a price of rupees 1.2 crore on road, you could have this baby Jaguar F-Type. However, if you're looking for something else, you could get the Porsche Cayman 718, which just so happens to be a downsized version as well. It comes with a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine with the exact same specs as this car. Well, let's get real here. If you want a really honest-to-God sports car in the same price range, but let's just say 20 lakhs more expensive, well, you should definitely go for the Audi RS5. The Audi RS5 would simply destroy this kitty cat here. However, if you don't mind owning a seductive British sexy sports car, the Jaguar F-Type 2.0 is not bad at all. In fact, it's plenty of fun, and it'll put a smile on your face in more ways than one.
Now, it's not like the Range Rover needed to get more luxurious, but that's exactly what they've done with the facelifted extended wheelbase version.
The rear seat of a car is a place you'll very rarely find me at. There are two reasons for that. One, I do not trust anybody else driving. I mean, with our driving standards on our roads, that's a given. And two, I love driving, so it's much more fun to be in the driver's seat. But there are exceptions to the rule. And this car, the Range Rover Vogue SE long wheelbase, is a car that I'm willing to make that exception for. You can see the amount of room I have. So while I have this car to test for a couple of days, what I'm doing today is sitting in the back seat and getting a feel of what a typical Range Rover customer who buys a long wheelbase feels like and what the experience is like. If you look at the almost 50-year-old history of the Range Rover, it makes for some very interesting reading. SUVs are commonplace today. They're in every segment. They're the hot sellers. Everybody wants one. But in 1970, the Range Rover was the first proper sports utility vehicle in the world. It was the first luxury car you could actually take off-road, so you could go to your farm in it, put on your Wellington boots, get down and dirty, look at whatever was supposed to be done, get off, change shoes, take it to the high street. It was the car for all purposes. And that ethos has been maintained over the years. And today we have so many variations of the Range Rover, it's hard to keep up. But this, I suppose, for somebody who's chauffeured, is the top dog of the Range Rover range. It's a long wheelbase car, 5.2 meters, and you can see the amount of space I have. Just to give you an idea, on planes today, in economy class at least, it's very difficult to open your laptop and do some work. In the Range Rover, look at the amount of room I have remaining after I open it. Comfort is also very important. It's got double glazed glass, so the noise isolation from the outside world, as you can hear yourself, is very, very good. And the air suspension is actually quite good. So despite the big 21-inch wheels, the car rides quite well. Refinement, again a given. Audio is very good. And sitting in the back of a Range Rover, while I would rather be driving, I can understand why people spend so much money to be back here. There's lots of space. It's very comfortable. You're isolated from the outside world. And it makes a lot of sense if you're chauffeured around. But that's for today. For tomorrow, I think I'm going to get in the driver's seat. And remember, like I said, it's a 5.2 meter long car. I have to understand whether this is workable in Indian conditions. Can you drive this yourself every day? That's going to be interesting to figure out. Having spent some time in the backseat of the Range Rover, and rather enjoying it too, I'm back to where I belong, the driving seat. Now this 4th generation Range Rover has almost 50 years of history behind it. And what Range Rover has done effectively well is that it's retained the main DNA of the car. Factor one is the styling. It's a very large, a very imposing and a very impressively styled car. But it's not in your face, it's not overtly aggressive, it's not trying to do a look at me look. It's a very classily designed product that stands out, but for all the right reasons. You know, people look at it with respect, which is rare. The other thing that Range Rovers maintain is the off-road ability that the cars are famous for. So, like the original Range Rover, you can take this virtually anywhere. It's got a 2-speed low transfer case. You can take it off-road. It might have big wheels, but the 4-wheel drive with the different modes, with the snow mode, with the mud mode, this is a car that can take you anywhere, and it'll do that in full luxury. Of course, that off-road ability is backed by a 3-liter diesel engine. Now again, like I said, this is an entry-level Range Rover, so this is the smallest engine type that you can buy for this car. 3-liter diesel, about 255 horsepower, 600 Nm of torque. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic gearbox. And even though it's a big car, it's a pretty heavy car, it actually works quite well. You can reach 3-digit speeds pretty quickly. For daily driving, actually this is more than adequate, especially for our conditions. But can it go faster? Of course. But I don't think that's really the point of a long wheelbase Range Rover. It's going to be chauffeured around mostly. And the performance that's offered by this engine is quite good, and it's fairly fuel efficient. For a car of its size, it's got an effective range of over 600 kilometers on a single tank. And I think that's pretty good. Again, you know, this is a pure luxury product, and that shows in the way the seats are made. They're superbly comfortable. They hold you in all the right places. The suspension's very well tuned. It's quite comfortable. It might be a bit wafty, but for a car of this size and weight, that's probably ideal. The fit and finish, the isolation, like I said before, the whole product is just, it's a cut above anything else that you can buy mostly. Of course, Range Rover has also kept up with modern times with the multimedia system. Some of their older multimedia systems weren't that impressive. But these combination of 2 touchscreens with a liquid display for your dials works quite well actually. This is, as their multimedia systems are evolving, it's becoming easier to use. The Meridian sound system sounds quite good. And even though we're in an entry-level long wheelbase, I mean, I don't know, I think that's an oxymoron, an entry-level Range Rover, it doesn't really fit together. But you still get quite a bit of equipment. You've got the panoramic sunroof, LED lighting, the Meridian sound system, big 21-inch wheels, the touchscreens. You don't get the executive seat package, you have to pay extra for that. There are more toys that you can buy, of course, that depends on your budget. But even then, this is a car that's worth 2.5 crores plus on road, which is quite a lot of money, so you have to be really rich to buy it. But it's got the luxury, it's got the design, it commands respect on the road, and it's got the off-road ability. What it lacks, or rather where it falls short, is that at 5.2 meters, like I said earlier, it's a big car. So finding parking is a problem. Plus, I think this is a bit of a too much of a luxury to be driving yourself. This is a car in which you're chauffeured. The primary point of this car is to be in the back seat while your chauffeur takes you anywhere you need to go. And because it's a Range Rover, it can tackle any terrain. The fundamental problem, I think, with the Range Rover long wheelbase is that it's aimed at a very small niche customer. It's very attractive. It serves its purpose very well. You can take it anywhere. Huge amount of space, refinement, comfort. But for 2.5, you can actually buy two very, very good cars. And that's where the conundrum behind the Range Rover lies. Do you buy one car that does everything, but is a bit large for Indian conditions? Or do you split up that money to buy two very nice cars that you can use for two different uses? Maybe a daily car and a weekend car. That's the fundamental question that is going to be posed to Range Rover customers. And I think that's where the choice lies.
Now, the Ducati Monster 821 is a bike that Jared loves to bits. So here's a full review of our performance bike of 2018.
Story. Back in 1993, a bunch of guys in Bologna, Italy decided to create a monster. Well, I'm not talking about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm actually talking about one of the most legendary monsters ever made, and that is the Ducati Monster. Well, Ducati's intention was actually to make a sports cruiser, but instead, somehow, they created my favorite class of motorbikes, the naked supersports. So 25 years later, Ducati is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the legendary Ducati Monster. And with us today is the brand new Monster 821. So the design of the new Monster 821 has been inspired slightly from the original M900, but this one is as modern as ever and comes with some of the best technology available. So you can see for yourself the Monster 821 is a beautiful looking bike. It's simplistic in every way possible, but I mean Ducati has always done a great job making simple things look phenomenal. So a lot of the design has been inspired from the 1200 and the old M900. What we have here is a massive fuel tank from the 1200, and the rear section is narrowed down, which is from the old styling. A lot of new things come in this bike as well, such as the new TFT instrument cluster, which is full color. The engine is exactly the same as the old one. It's the 821cc L-twin. It's got 108 brake horsepower and 86 newton meters of torque. It's actually a very nice, powerful engine. It's not the smoothest, of course, but Ducati is not known to make very smooth engines. They make nice, rough, mean, torquey engines. And this engine is very nice. It does overheat even though it is water-cooled, but I mean, we are in a hot temperate area, so you would expect that. It's got a nice 212 exhaust. The exhaust note is nice. It's got 43mm forks up front and an adjustable monoshock at the back, of course. Now, when you first see the bike, it does look very compact. In fact, it's actually very nice and light and small. It weighs only 180 kilograms. So when you swing a leg over it, it's actually a very comfortable monster. It's one of the most comfortable monsters I've actually ridden in my entire life. Right now, I've been riding the bike for about a few days and I'm in love with it because I've been riding in the city and the highway, and this is one of the most usable naked super sports you could probably get in India right now. The seat is nice and wide and very comfortable. It's great for riding in the city. It's great for long distance touring as well. So when you get on the bike, it's actually very comfortable. The riding position is very nice. You're sitting upright, but it's a little bit of an aggressive position. The handlebars are high up and placed in front of you, but there is no weight in your arms, so you don't get tired. Another good thing, it's got a slipper clutch, so it's not heavy in traffic. Your legs are slightly behind you, which allows you to be more aggressive when you want it to be. And overall, it's just very nice to sit on and ride throughout all conditions. Another thing I want to point out is that there's 3 riding modes. They've got urban, touring, and sport, obviously. Now, in urban, the power is brought down to 75 brake horsepower. And I think it's a very good way of handling the bike in the city because you don't need to force yourself or exert yourself under too much stress because the throttle response is a little less. And the bike is easy to handle through traffic and maneuver. When you're in touring, obviously, the horsepower goes up to its regular 108 bhp. It's great to tour with, honestly, because of the way you sit on the bike and the way it goes. The throttle control is very good. The bike feels nice. Suspension setup is perfect. And then when you put it in sport, that's when the Monster actually awakes. So when you put it in sport, it's a whole other animal. The throttle response is instant. And this is where, you can see the Monster is actually more accessible to all kinds of riders because it doesn't matter if you're a novice or professional. You can have so much fun with this bike depending on what you want to do. So let's say if you're a professional and you want to ride every day in the city, you can just bring it down to urban mode and bring the horsepower down. And then when you want to go nuts, just put it in sports mode and then the brake horsepower goes up, the throttle control goes up, all the electricals just cut off and the bike is under your control and it goes like crazy, like anything else. So the next thing is the way the bike handles. Because the bike is so light and it's compact, it handles beautifully. And when you want to hit those curvy roads and those twisty roads, wherever you can find them, that is, it's really a nice, flickable bike that just obeys your every command. The way it handles is just mind-blowing. But I mean, Ducati is known for their sports performance and their handling has always been one of my favorite. Every Monster I've ridden has been a very nice motorcycle to ride on all kinds of roads. So this gets the Pirelli Diablo Rosso tires and they're phenomenal. The grip they give you is really good. You can really push the bike and it's always well planted. Even the brakes are phenomenal. I mean, it gets 320mm dual discs up front, and then you've got a single 245mm at the rear. The brakes are really good, no matter how fast you're going. If you want to come to a standstill, just squeeze on there. The ABS works very well, and everything just comes together. The only downside of the Monster here is that it's priced at 9.5 or 9.8 ex-showroom Delhi. But that's going to be over 10.5 lakhs on road, which is quite expensive. I mean, for a lot less, you can get the Kawasaki Xena 100, which is almost as fun to ride, in my opinion, and really a nice overall bike. Then you have the Street Triple S, which is also an affordable bike. But those are the best 2 bikes in the segment right now. But I would have to say the Monster 821 is just in the same class as those bikes because everything from the way it performs, the engine, the handling, the riding comfort, it's just very nice. It's a very nice bike, very nice package. But the main thing here is that this is a Ducati Monster and it looks amazing. I mean, it's muscular, it's simple, but it stands out. And for the first time in a long time, 25 years actually, Ducati Monster now comes in a yellow color. And I think it looks very good in yellow. Honestly, if I were to buy this bike, I would buy it in yellow. And so yeah, that is the main crux right there, is that if you want to ride a bike that's amazing and look good as well, the Monster is definitely, you have to go for it for sure. So yeah, there you have it, the Monster 821. It's now in India, it's a great bike. Head to your nearest Ducati dealership and go for a ride if you don't want to take my word for it.
Well, that's all the time we have for you this week. Follow us on social media for your daily dose of all things automotive. And remember, it's chaos out there. So, buckle up and always wear your helmet. We'll see you again next week on the AutoX Show.